welcome to Let's Boop Snoots. I'm Heidi,
And I'm Vero.
and we have got some snoots to boop this week.
Mm-hmm. Boop.
A couple of random stories to kick her off. I know we always tend to talk about our own dogs, and I was just chatting with Vero about this. For all of you who don't know Gibbon, my precious Weimaraner with a sensitive tummy,
Mm-hmm.
we've had ongoing issues with him. So since day one, like food's been an issue, his digestive system has been an issue, and we've had our ups and downs. And we had a couple of episodes where he ate stuff that he wasn't supposed to, like birdseed, which started a whole pancreatitis issue, which then led to like switching foods again and trying to figure out what works for him and keeps calories on without starving him to death. But he's a pretty skinny boy. Anyways, we were on the road to a nice stable diet and putting a little bit more fat back on him again. And then lo and behold, we had another huge pancreatitis episode.
Mm.
So I was just saying to Vero that my brother recently took up hunting, and he's been hunting geese. And I can remember last year for Christmas, he made us goose jerky. So he got this dehydrator and he found some recipe and stuff like that. And I haven't tried it yet because I'm not a huge fan of the gamey meats. But so it was my birthday last week, and we were having a sort of get together open house, people stopping in at different times, still paying attention somewhat to the COVID stuff. There's not a whole lot of restrictions anymore in our city. But, anyways, my brother stopped by and he had brought some goose jerky. And much to my shock and surprise, because he is not a dog fan at all, he made dog treats. And it was just straight, like no spices or anything, just straight dehydrated goose meat. So I was like, oh, like I'm going to give this a try. And I gave one to both Gibbon and Becky, my other dog, and gave it to them one day, gave it to them the second day. And the third day, Gibbon was vomiting like all over the house, like 8 piles of barf, all ranging
Mm.
with like different levels of food in it to like just a pile of like pinkish tinged like just bile, I'm sure.
Oh.
And he couldn't keep anything down and stuff like that. So I fasted him for a day, and then we gave him a little bit of rice, and where he's fine now, like he's back to normal. But I was wondering, like, well, it must have been the goose, because goose is like a fatty meat, but I didn't think dehydrated and like like there's a layer of fat around the goose that like they use it with duck and goose, like they're both like fatty birds, I guess. But I'm not sure if it's like the fat around the meat or if there's fat like all like in the meat like
Yeah.
itself,
Like a marbled
yeah,
fat
like a marbled
meat.
fat. And I didn't think that like it doesn't look fatty. Now, mind you, it's like super dehydrated, but I don't know if the dehydration process like, removes some of the fat too. And I didn't think giving him like literally a half-inch piece of straight like dehydrated goose meat would create such a horrible mess, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. But so I didn't feed him any more of that, and he's like back to normal. But again, it's like, it was it the goose meat? Did he eat something else like out on a walk somewhere? Like, you're always guessing because you just wish they could talk to you.
Yeah.
What did you eat today? Well, I found a random piece of poop on the trail and a
In a
dead squirrel.
sandwich.
Anyways, so he's fine now, but you always got to be careful with this stuff, right? Like, I'm very reluctant to give him anything now. I thought that would have been okay, and it just makes you feel so horrible too, you know?
Yeah. It's like, and you want to treat them.
Yes, you want to be able to give them treats, but not if it's gonna cause a massive flare up and nausea and vomiting and diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. We need
Well,
to
you
make
know
a
what you might be able to try, Heidi, that I saw
yes.
on Dr. Karen Becker's Facebook, because we're
Mhm.
Facebook buddies. Green bananas.
Green bananas, you say?
Green bananas, yeah. So
Tell me
green
about these green
bananas.
bananas.
Karen Becker says, what's the best training treats for dogs with the GI issues, including diarrhea, colitis, ulcers, and sensitive stomachs? Unripe or green bananas? She says they are the unsung heroes of gut health. They're low in sugar, high in pectin, and prebiotics, which are powerful food tool to nourish your dog's good gut bacteria.
Hmm.
So maybe.
And I got some green bananas downstairs right now. So I'm going to try that like tonight.
Oh, I
I
hope it
really
works,
hope
and
it
I
does.
hope
I
it
know. I
doesn't
hope it
make
does.
it worse.
I know. I'm like, stay
Oh,
tuned. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll see how it goes. But another thing that made me nervous was my mom told me that she was out with some friends and I guess they were talking about dog stuff and her friend had mentioned that her dog had had a bout of pancreatitis as well. And that she said very shortly after, her dog was diagnosed with diabetes. And I was like, uh-oh, because that's just a pain in the butt, man.
but
A
how old is
diabetic
her
animal?
dog?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't
Because you
ask
need
those
a lot of
questions.
your pancreas to not produce, like a
Hmm.
good portion of it, of the cells that produce insulin,
Yeah,
to be like damaged or whatever before you get the diabetes.
before you get the diabetes.
Yeah, I
Diabetes is
think.
just, it doesn't worry me so much in terms of like daily management of an animal. Like I wouldn't mind checking sugars and doing the needles, and I think dogs are definitely better for cats for that. I'm just guessing to tell you the truth because I haven't heard of many dogs with diabetes, but I like
Mm-hmm.
I think that like you're able to train them more and they get used to it. Whereas like cats, you got to chase them down and wrestle them and they bite and scratch and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And dogs might do that too. But I to tell you the truth, I've never known anybody with a diabetic dog, but I've known many people with diabetic cats. And the only thing that becomes like an issue is like again, like when you're traveling to go somewhere now it's not just somebody caring for your dog, it's like asking somebody to handle needles and stuff like that for you. Like it's it can be not just time consuming, but a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. And to pay for services that did this, like I had a friend once that with a diabetic cat, and whenever she went away to for a week or whatever, she got one of her vet techs to come and take care of the animals for her. And they required like sugars and insulin and twice a day. So it
Yeah.
was costing her $100 a day to have
Wow.
somebody care for her cat while she was away. So that's like just like an added cost on top of everything else.
That's
I
a
should do
lot.
I know. When I retire, I'm literally going to walk people's animals and take care of their diabetic animals for them while they're away for like a
Yes.
fraction of the cost. This is my retirement plan, folks.
Yeah, you just have to do it for a week and then and then you're good
We'll
to
call it
go.
Easy Animal Care. Easy is my last name for all y'all that don't know.
I was
Easy
just
Animal
actually going to
Care.
read an article before we met up to Boop Snoots,
Hmm.
and the title is "Does your dog have diabetes? You could be next." It says owning a dog with diabetes was linked to a 38% increased risk of diabetes in the owner. And
Come on.
that's how far I got. It's probably because they probably have the same lifestyle, same environmental factors, like risk factors and all that.
Yeah.
But I haven't read the article yet, but I will.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Me
Yeah.
and Gibbs are both going to get the sugars. A double diagnosis. Oh my God.
Double diabetes.
Double diabetes. Well,
Well, let me know how the green bananas go. I might
yes.
even give Ralphie boy a
Some
little bit
green
of green
bananas.
bananas.
Green
And speaking
bananas.
of green bananas, and speaking of green bananas, there's also something that I saw on Dr. Karen Becker's Facebook.
Hmm.
It says, "Want to help your dog live longer? Do this. Give your
What?
dog some green tea, decaf,
Really?
decaf green tea."
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I thought all green tea was decaf.
I don't think so.
Shows you how much I know. The
What
goose
does it
treat
say
Gibbon
here?
pancreatitis causing owner over here.
It says people who drink green tea at least 3 times a week can live longer and suffer a lower risk of cardiovascular disease. I think it helps fight cancer.
I do remember reading like about all the benefits associated with green tea. There's like
Yeah.
a lot of health benefits associated with the green tea.
And if you feed your dog kibble, you can just, boil the water, put the tea bag in it, and they can put it on top of the kibble.
Yeah.
So if you look at her Facebook, Dr. Karen Becker, it says the portions. So if you have a large dog, half to 1 cup of green tea. Medium dogs, a quarter to half a cup. Small dogs, 2 tablespoons. And cats is 1 tablespoon.
Huh.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll give him
that's like
some
easy schmeezy.
green green tea and some green bananas. It's coming Gibbs way. I'll have to go check my cupboard. I know we have a bunch of tea, and I think we have green tea. But what about like what you'd have to find like just a straight up green tea because I find they mix so many other flavors into green teas these days.
Mm-hmm.
Like my favorite for the longest time was jasmine green tea. So good,
Ooh,
so good.
ooh.
And I got a jasmine plant, but I'm guessing the jasmine is not good for dogs because the jasmine plant is not good for dogs. Very poisonous.
Ooh, yeah, probably not.
Um, the other little dog story that I had from this week was I was telling Vero about it earlier too. Was the cute little videos that you get like on Facebook sometimes and stuff like that. And there's an organization in our area. I forget what it's called. Maybe you can help me remember, but it's for when you lose dogs. Remember one of our coworkers there
Mm,
lost her dog for like 2 weeks,
yes.
and then they found her. I forget what the name of the organization is, but there's an organization right here in our city, and I'm sure there is in a whole whatever city you may live in, but where they help you find like lost dogs and they help spread it throughout the media and stuff like that, so that if your dog's obviously like on the loose and running all over the place, then hopefully you get more people looking out for
Is
your
it
dogs.
called Lost My Pet?
It could be. It could be. And the so the video that I saw was this cute little video where there was an elderly couple whose dog got out on the loose, and it looked like it was like a white lab of like some kind. Anyways, and they couldn't really they lost it in this forested area, and it had been days since they seen it, and they tried got to go out walking and stuff like this, but they were like elderly, so they couldn't go very far, and were super distressed about their missing little poocheroo.
Oh,
So this dude decided that he was going to take his drone and fly it over the forested area where they lost the dog. And he found the dog in 5 minutes
wow.
because you can just fly it over and look. So he saw the dog immediately and then was able to get close to it and brought the dog back to the owners, which they were super grateful for. And he did not accept any sort of monetary. He said, if you can do something nice, then that's great, which is so
Yeah.
nice of him.
Oh,
But anyways, what a smart idea, especially
that
since like that's
is.
typically where like dogs go, right? Now you don't want to get your drone like lost in a bunch of trees and stuff, but and it might be harder in the summer when they're all full of leaves, but I mean like good idea, bro.
Yeah.
Yes. And I
Ooh.
even pitched the idea of starting like a drone
let's
dog rescue
let's drone
company.
snoots.
Let's drone snoots. Let's snoop snoots.
Yes.
No snoots to the ground, doll. We're going to find a doggy.
Yeah.
Doggy investigative services.
How did
I
he
think
get the
that would be
dog? Was
so
the
cool.
dog like pretty approachable?
He was a little bit afraid, so he just like hung out and called and was throwing food at him, which the dog was hungry because it had been missing for like I think like it was like over a week at this point.
Oh my god.
Yes. So he got the dog pretty good. I just love watching those videos, and the more I watch them, the more the social media puts it on there for you. But
Hmm.
I love watching all the little rescues and found my dog and people finding their dog after like months sometimes and like Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So
I know like
heartwarming.
our coworker, she had lost her dog in a forest as well, but they
How many
had
were,
trouble approaching her. Like they
well,
would see her one day and then the dog would just run off.
she was super skittish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
crazy
that made it
skittish.
difficult,
Yeah,
which is the reason why she ran away
to
in
begin
the
with.
first
Yeah,
place. Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's especially difficult with like a super skittish dog, and they're usually the ones that dart out the door, right? The door dashers.
Mm-hmm.
Got to work on that door dashing, y'all.
Yeah.
But and on that note, or that will take us into our next little bit here. So I had seen an article this week that the premier of our province is talking about repealing like the breed specific like legislation bans on dogs. So more specifically like pit bulls. So pit
Ooh.
bulls are banned in our province. And I just read an article really quickly before getting back on. So he didn't like make a promise specifically to like rescind like the pit bull ones, but that he's changing the laws. But this article talked about this one specific guy whose dog got loose, and then somebody called animal control, and then they just detain the dog, or and they send it to another province where they're not banned to be adopted or like in a foster or something until they sort things out. But it sounds like it's a little bit of like a legal mess, and it sounds like it like really is like it's not fair because like it talks about pit bulls and but anything that looks like a pit bull. So if somebody
Yeah.
finds your dog and it looks like a pit bull but it isn't, they take your dog, man. And
Yeah.
the other legal aspect to it is that they're not even charging you with it. So it's like they just remove the dog, but there's no criminal charges. So you can't even go and fight it like in court. So it's just like
They just
one
take your
sec.
dog.
Yeah, your dog's just gone.
Your velvet hippo.
That's the first time I've ever heard of a pit bull being referred to as a velvet hippo. My velvet hippo is scratching at the door to get in, so I'm gonna go let him back in. So I don't know what I think we spoke about this on an episode once. To me, the breed specific ban does not make sense to me
No.
because ultimately a dog's behavior is a hey, get out of here, he's trying to steal my spot.
Hi, Gibbon.
Back. Hey, you little goof.
Who
And
wants to boop?
here, I'm slapping butts. Let's slap butts. Um, so it makes no sense to me. So I was telling Vero, breed specific bans do not make sense. And when you go back in time, I think there have been breed bans on even German Shepherds at one point, on Dobermans, or any of the like breeds that you could deem as aggressive. But this is the thing, it doesn't matter what breed your dog is, any dog can be aggressive. Like, why is
Yeah.
there not a Chihuahua ban then? Because
Yeah.
those little nippers are super aggressive. They can be
Yeah.
super
They
aggressive,
are.
even if it is just at your ankles.
They can be.
We need our ankles, folks. Save the ankles. Ban Chihuahuas. But so over history there's been several different breeds that have been banned, and again like it just takes the focus away from the owner. So again, if you're like a drug dealer and you buy a pit bull or something that looks like it to guard like your property while you're dealing drugs to everybody, like, and so you're training it to be super aggressive, or you buy it from a super aggressive breeder who trains it to be aggressive or aggressive guard to the point where you don't have control over it and it's like biting people, then again it's the owner that should be charged.
Hmm.
And these are
I
the
agree.
instances where like if the I think it should be like a, depending on how bad the damage is that it does to a human, I agree with it being put down. Like, sorry, you lose your animal. And I think there's like one-offs. I don't know how I feel about this because like depending if the damage isn't that bad, like if it's like if it was a mishap or if it's somebody coming onto your property unexpected and it surprises the dog for whatever, because like I think I told this story before once where I was taking Becky to drop her off at my friend's house. And this was back in Becky's younger days when she was literally the most submissive dog you could ever hope to meet in your life. Like literally, like you'd be like, "Hi, Becky," and it was like on her back, like legs up in the air, like I submit, I submit to you. Like that's totally what she was like. So I was going to drop her off at a friend's house whose dog, like, I didn't realize that the daughter had come home and let the dog in the backyard. So when we went to enter in the backyard, Molly, their dog, jumped on me. I screamed, and Becky literally grabbed Molly by the neck and pinned her to the ground in like 2 seconds. And I was like, no, 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 no. But I would have never, ever, ever had expected that behavior from Becky. But you don't know because they're animals. At the end of the day, like instinct is something that like we think we have control over and we
Hmm.
don't necessarily do. And another prime example of this, not talking doggos, is like the tiger dudes there in Vegas.
Oh yeah,
What were they called?
Tiger
Sigmund and
King. Uh,
no, 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 no,
oh yeah,
not
yeah,
the
the
tigers.
tiger. I'm
The
thinking about
performers in Vegas. Yes, you're thinking of like that weird dude,
that.
Joe. What's his name? Joe, whatever. Like the whole pandemic show
Yeah,
there that went viral. But I'm talking about the two
in the
performers. So these,
hotel. Yeah,
yes, um is it Siegfried and Roy or whatever, and like whatever happened, something triggered the instinct of a tiger, which is like a very instinctive like animal, and it like grabbed one of them, and they didn't even like hold the animal responsible. It was, you just never know what variables come together in a specific situation to make an animal behave the way that it does, but at the end of the day they're animals.
yep,
So I didn't expect that of Becky. I wouldn't expect that Gibbon would attack anybody coming into our house, but you never know. They smell something weird. Something makes a weird sound that frightens them, just as somebody's going to pet them and their hand gets bit, like whatever the circumstances are. So I would agree with like like a warning first, and then if it happens again, but it's terminate the animal,
yeah,
because like ultimately like it's dangerous if you can't predict like an animal's behavior. Like a one off is like, again, like, but who do you get to judge that situation, right? Like I guess it could be
hmm,
fought in court with the person who is damaged versus the owner of the animal. But any pit bull that I have ever met has been like a total hippo, velvet hippo.
yeah, yeah.
Like a
I met one on a walk
sweetheart.
with Ralph, and she was like super cute, super friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't think that there's anything really making them more of a danger than Ralph is necessarily in that moment, right? Like
yeah.
depending on what's happening. So um
I think they're just so like when you look at a pit bull, they're just so big and
yeah.
like muscular. So when they do something, it
Hmm.
hurts. Like
Yes.
it's
Well,
worse.
they have like the huge jowls, right? And they have the like
Yeah.
lock jaw when they do like chomp onto something. It's like
Mm-hmm.
their jaws lock or whatever. And again, it could happen, but like a bite is a bite is a bite coming from whatever animal. Like it's the same with German shepherds, like that. Like they're chosen to train like on police forces and stuff like that. Like why not choose pit bulls then if they're, deemed to be like more damage causing and stuff like this, right? Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I think breed specific banning is ridiculous. I think you should put more time into making the laws and rules around what happens with an aggressive animal, regardless of breed, a bit more clear. Again, I think like if it happens on your property, like your house insurance covers that. And I
Yeah.
think we did
So
an
you might
episode
have
once. Remember when a house insurance like was higher depending on what breed you had? Like if you were a dog owner?
yeah. Yeah.
I remember you saying something about that, which again is crazy if you ask me.
And you might have a dog for protective purposes. So if there's somebody that does step onto your property that's not supposed to be there, or sometimes, your dog knows best and they can sense something is wrong,
Exactly, or they
or
can
they can
sense that
sense
somebody's
that
there.
somebody's not right, that
Yes.
somebody's dangerous
Isn't there like a
because they
Bill
smell
Murray
hormones and
Yes.
all of that,
Yes.
all those
Yes.
chemicals.
I think there's a Bill Murray meme about dogs or something like that, and it said I don't trust a human who doesn't like dogs, but I trust a dog that doesn't like a human, a certain
Hmm.
human or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yep, yes,
Yep.
sir, yes, sir. So this article that I read was like very specific to this one dude who who had this experience. But again, like this is what brought me into this article. So if any of you have like a pit bull looking dog in Ontario,
Hide him.
and it's a door dasher, like I would really be working on those skills and those recall skills, because if somebody picks up your dog, you could kiss your dog goodbye, judging by this article. Because there was like several people, and some people, like again, it wasn't even deemed like one of the specific breeds, and they took her dog just because it looked like a pit bull.
Hmm. Now, if you
So
look at the picture of this article, it's called Ford Government Changes Regulations Related to Pit Bull Ban. And then you scroll down. This dog actually really looks like a velvet hippo.
yes, he does. What
The
were the
owner of Blue.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Oh, here it is. So currently, Pit Bull Terriers, Staffordshire Bull Terriers, American Staffordshire Terriers, and American Pit Bull Terriers are named in the act as banned dogs. They're all considered pit bulls, and they are. It's like those. They do have very pit bully faces, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
they got the massive like head with the huge like jowls and stuff like this. But like in his case, like his dog got loose in the neighborhood and one of his neighbors called and adios. I forget, the dog's name was Dewedgie. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
Is it the dog that's named Dewedgie?
or I thought so.
Oh, the owner of Blue, also known as Dewedgie.
Oh, okay. He does look like a velvet hippo. It's like this super gray, short-haired, like very pit bully guy. They do have the big chomper, so I can see why they call them the velvet hippos.
The
Oh,
little
sorry.
ears.
I know we've said it like 6 times already, but it is really funny when you think of it. When you like think velvet hippo and then look at a picture of one of these things, you're like, yep,
Yep.
that's a velvet hippo. So this one owner who recently lost his dog, I guess he said, and he quotes like, Mr. Ford called me and said, hey, listen, something's going to come down the pipeline. It's going to happen sometime next week, but we'll get him out of there, because they're currently holding the dog, right?
Hmm.
And another woman who had a similar experience, she said, like, and this is one where she talked about it becoming like part of like a legal battle. She was saying that so when they got so she told the premier that she lost her two American bullies, Nova and Dexter, and when they got loose in mid-March and they were picked up by an animal control officer in Ontario. She said she was never charged under the pit bull law, which left her no legal recourse. So she eventually agreed to ship the dogs to a foster home in Quebec, but she can't even go to court to like fight it. And she's saying, so she's like, what is giving these canine control officers the right to hold the dog under a certain law and then not have me charged under that law?
Yeah.
And like because if you're charged, then at least you have like a chance of like fighting it and figuring out a way to regain the ownership of your dog, but like she has no legal recourse to do so. So I find it interesting, and it's like, again, like when you come to like breed specific stuff, it all ends up being such a huge waste of time in the end, because every decade it's a new breed.
Hmm.
So what's it going to be next? I hope it's Chihuahuas.
No.
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 Maybe I won't be able to get my cane corso. Maybe my
Velcro.
cane.
Velcro. Well, what could we call them?
What, cane corsos?
No. Weimaraners.
Weimaranos? Oh,
Because they're also like
Weimaranos?
velvet.
Yes, the velvet
Velvet
Velcro.
giraffes.
That's so funny, because so for Halloween, I put my nursing costume on Gibbon, and everybody liked it. And he would come to the door and he would stick his neck out, and he has like such a long neck. And this one kid was like, "Your dog has a really long neck." And I was like, yeah, maybe I should get him a giraffe costume for next year. And she was like, yes, do that. My little
Velcro
giraffe.
giraffe.
I'm going to call him Giraffe for the rest of his days. My little Gibbon. Hey, are you
Speaking
a
of
giraffe?
Halloween, did
Mm-hmm.
you see your costume?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
So I
did.
was, yeah. So Ralph, yeah, Ralph, like Ralph. I've been getting mixed up with Ralph and Wiggum lately. I don't know why.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
It happens from time to time. Did you hear that little woof?
a
It's
little
because
woof.
one of the humans is home from work.
Ralph was Doug from the movie Up. My boyfriend had built this nice cardboard house. So the house in Up, it looked really, really good. And we had bought some balloons to go on the house. And my boyfriend was Russell, little Boy Scout.
It was well executed.
Yes.
Very well executed.
It says in this article, I'm going back to the article,
Okay.
when they changed when they were able to let Dwaji go,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it says, it was an incredible moment. Dwaji came out. His whole body turned into a snake, wiggly waggly, jumping on us. And I can't picture him being like a wiggly waggly.
Oh, the velvet hippo.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen. Have you never watched again? Me and with my Facebook videos because I'm watching them all the time. But have you ever seen the one where like the officers come home from their
Oh,
uh,
yes.
missions and such, and to their dogs, and the dogs going nuts?
Oh,
One was
yeah.
like a little pity looking thing, and the
Aw.
velvet hippo was very snaky, wiggly, waggly, jumping all over them.
Very cute.
They do. They do get the wiggle waggles a big time.
Aw. I find they're the
Yes.
cutest breed when they're puppies and they put little onesies on them.
Oh, yes.
I don't know
Yes.
why. They're just so
Yes.
cute when they're puppies, the little onesies.
See, and I wonder, like, would you consider like a boxer, like almost like a pit bully breed? Because they're pretty jowly too and can be like a little bit standoffish, I guess. I don't know.
Are
Like,
they? I thought
it's like,
boxers were like super friendly, and
but again, like,
I
but
think
you
it's
hear
just
about
the look.
any,
Yeah.
exactly, it's the look, the intimidating look, or like whatever. So, like, what's stopping anybody from being like, you know, okay, sorry, my dogs are like in a full on wrestle mode. And this is what they do. And Becky starts barking at Gibbon.
Becky.
Hey, shush! Enough! Sorry. Hopefully that every day they get the zoomies with each other and they chase each other and they like Gibbon will parkour off of our bed. So I come home and all the sheets are all like bunched up in the middle of the bed and I'm like, I see what went down here. I do. I see.
Barkor.
Parkour. Some
Barkor.
serious parkour. But anyways, I hope they reverse the legislation. I hope they realize that there's no point in making another one for any other breed because, like I said, it changes all the
Mm-hmm.
time. This one's mean. No, this one's mean. No, this one's mean. Guess what,
Yeah.
folks? Any dog can be mean,
Yep.
including Chihuahuas.
Including Goldens.
I hope we
No.
don't get in trouble for Chihuahua hating. I don't hate Chihuahuas, but I hear they can be aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
It's
saying?
because they're the little dogs, and people, I think we had also an episode on this, how people train their little dogs differently than their big
Yes,
dogs, where it should be
absolutely.
the same.
Yeah. They're held less accountable because you're able to just scoop them up and remove them from the situation.
Yeah.
But if you're not there to scoop them up, then what?
Then what? Aggressive chihuahuas.
Aggressive chihuahuas. Next breed ban.
That would be actually, it wouldn't be funny because anyways, it would be funny in a way if it was like a small breed.
I'm almost tempted to start a movement, but I love all dogs.
Yeah.
Although we all have our preferences, I love all dogos,
Hmm.
regardless of size, regardless of aggression. Poor little schnoozies.
So my neighbors finally got their golden retriever puppy,
Yes. Hazel.
Hazel. Did I mention that
Yes.
on the last episode?
You did.
Well, I met Hazel,
You did?
and she's so cute.
Yeah?
Oh my
Did
god.
she get to meet Ralph?
No, they're waiting till she has all her shots.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So
I
she
forgot
was
about the
8
shots.
weeks when I met her, and she was like a lot smaller than Ralph was. Like Ralph was a little tank,
Yes.
and she was like teeny tiny and like super sweet, whereas like Ralph is just like a bulldozer.
Ralph coming through. Yeah.
Excuse me. Just kidding. I don't care what you think.
Little Ralph Ferroni. Do you remember when Gibbon and Ralph first met? And he just like speaking of bulldozers,
Yeah.
Ralph got a little he got bulldozed by Mr.
By
Gibbons.
Gibbon.
He like literally just like ran straight over him, like knocking him like flat out.
Boom.
Ba-boom. Gibbon.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's weird that he did that. He did that with your dog and one other dog, and I was just like, oh, is Gibbon
Little bully.
a little bully? A little bully Gibbs?
A bulldozer bully.
Maybe it will be Weimaraners. Maybe that will be the
They bulldozer people. They bulldozer other dogs.
yes.
They're
Aggressive.
banned.
So aggressive. That will be my karma for all the Chihuahua hate on this episode. I'll be like, Weimaraners are a dangerous bulldozing breed. I'll knock you flat on your feet.
Well, Ralph continues to be a testy teenager.
Oh yeah?
We played a board game yesterday with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
We tried playing on the coffee table. So our coffee table is low.
Yeah.
And we had to tie Ralph to the dining room table so that he would not eat the pieces.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So speaking of like just picking your dog up and
Yeah.
instead of like dealing with the issue, but at what point like we would still be sitting there waiting to play the game, I think.
Yeah. I know it's difficult, right? Like, and that's where the training becomes difficult because, like, given on what's going on, like if somebody's coming to your door, you're not willing, like, especially if it's a stranger or whatever, you're not willing them to make them wait, right? You're just like, oh, whatever, and then you open the door, and then the dog's charging at them or barking super loud or jumping all over
Yeah.
you, and stuff like that because you don't want a poor like Amazon Prime delivery guy to like be waiting there for like 5 minutes, like. So you're at the mercy of like your social situation, which is can definitely be difficult. But it's
Yeah.
funny that you say that because like what people noticed, like when we had the get together for my birthday, we had the whole main level with like various side tables and coffee tables, and we had like bowls of food out on every single one of them, and our dogs ne touche pas, right?
That's good.
And that's what a few people were just saying, like, I need to work on that with my dogs. Like there's like no way I would be able to let my dog out at a party like this because they would eat everything, like bowls and bowls of chips and
Yeah, well, Ralph
nuts
would
or
at this
chocolates.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
And I felt like I have like labs and golden retrievers is probably the hardest breed to train not to
against
do
the
that.
food. Yeah. It definitely is tough.
Yeah.
So, but again, I find it so weird because I don't know if you remember a few episodes ago when I mentioned that we recently purchased like a new dining room table, and that we came home and there was like paw prints on it, and it's Gibbon,
Yeah.
like 100%. But there's no food there, so like, why does he go on the
What
dining
does
room
he
table?
do?
I don't know. But it's weird. He can walk around a party and not eat the chips at nose level, but like while we're all gone for the day, he just takes like a stroll on the dining room table? Like why?
Maybe.
This is where I wish I could talk to them and be like, why do you choose to do this? Why is the dining room table a place for you to go when we're not around?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. No
That's too
sense at
funny.
all.
Maybe it's the light fixture he wants to get to. He wants to hang from the chandelier.
He's Sia. Should I
He
call him
puts on the
Sia?
Sia song and he jumps on the table.
Why want to hang from the chandelier? Oh my god.
Is that a ramp?
I think that's a ramp. Well, tune in next week on Lots of Boop Snoots. We will think of some more things to boop snoots about.
Absolutely.
And good luck to all you people out there with pitties being held
Yes.
in various locations.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you get your dogs back.
Your wiggly waggly pitties.
Yes. They're velvet.
Your
the
velvet
march of the velvet hippos.
Dum, 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 dum.
All of them coming back into Ontario.
Yep.
They should do a velvet hippo march.
Aw. With like a float, a velvet hippo float.
Oh, cute.
Aw.
All right. See you next week.
On Let's Boop Snoots. Boop. Boop.